swear John just, like, doesn't listen to me sometimes because he was like, hey, are you coming to our local game store later? And I'm like, I have work. Like, I tell him things, and, like, hours later, he's like, oh, so, like, da, da, da. And I'm like, I told you that, like, 5 minutes ago, and you're just like, oh, man, this kid. He's great, but he's sometimes. Alright, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy, and I'm here with actually a really exciting video because if you keep up with me on my channel, or maybe you don't, you will know or not know that I've been feeling a little bit frustrated with Magic recently, and it's been really unfortunate. It's been like something that's been hurtful for me because I love Magic so much, and I'm someone who's like, oh man, like I want to play Magic, and like the majority of, you know, why I play and stuff, like, I don't even know why I play Magic, like, it's a really good question, but like, you know, it's to be around my friends. It's like I have a lot of friends in the Magic community and like a lot of people that I know, and the fact that I can like stay in touch with these people from this game, like, because I haven't been to my local game store like a lot this summer, it's been like I haven't seen a lot of my friends, and that makes me like really sad because I'm like, all these people that I've made friends with because of the game I like just haven't seen, and that makes me really sad, and I'm just like, oh, these people that I haven't seen. So, I took a break from competitive Modern, I think in like June, I think I took a break from that, and I've still been on that, and I was even saying recently that I was getting frustrated with EDH, and that made me like so upset, because I'm like, I love EDH, and it's like my favorite format, like, it is my favorite format, like, I love Modern, but like, it's my favorite format, and I love that it's something that it's so much more like casual. Yeah, you can go to competitive events and stuff, but it started out really as like a casual like type of format, and I really love that about it. You can play with like a wide variety of cards, and I think that's really awesome, and I know about a ton of you guys love to play EDH. It's the best format, it's just great. It's such a flexible format too. Like, you can build whatever you want, and that's awesome, and I think that allows for EDH to be such a creative outlet. I think that's really cool. And so I was feeling like really frustrated, and then I built Super Friends, and then, you know, of course after I built Super Friends, after I build any deck, I really want to go and test it out a bunch and see how it works. And, you know, whenever I build a deck, I'm like, listen, I just built this deck, I don't know how this deck is going to play at all, especially with this deck. Like, this deck, I was so, like, I had absolutely no idea how this deck was going to play out. I was like, guys, this deck could be great, it could be bad, like, I have no idea, so we're just going to kind of play it by ear, and we're just going to kind of see how this works. So, like, I built it, and I was so, like, I had no idea about the mana base, and, like, how some cards were gonna work, and things like that, and so it was kind of like, you know, as I played a couple of games, I like went up to the counter, and I got a couple of cards for it. Like, when I went up to the counter initially, and I bought, I think 4 Planeswalkers. I think I needed those remainder 4 Planeswalkers, and then I had, like, I think at that time, like, I think like 2 proxies in the deck. I had Sorin, Grim Nemesis, and I'm trying to remember what the other card was. I definitely had another proxy, and I don't remember what it was, but it was something else. And I had intentions of buying / trading for those things. One of my friends has a Sorin. I just bought a Sorin, but I'll talk about that later. So I was like, okay, like, I definitely want these things. So I went to the counter, and I bought the 4 Planeswalkers. I got a Johnny Mentor of Heroes, a Johnny Steadfast, what were the other 2 Planeswalkers I bought? I don't remember. I spent like $40, which was weird because I haven't bought Magic cards in a while. Like, literally the whole deck, oh, by the way, I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. The whole deck, I actually haven't, except for that amount, and then I just bought, guys, I'm really stoked. I bought a Russian, Deploy to Gatewatch, and a Japanese Sorin, and I'm so stoked because I really like the way that Japanese cards looks. I think it's probably like my favorite language of cards. I think they just look the best. I like any types of cards that are not in English. I love, like, I will trade for any cards. Like, if I like the card and if it's a card I play, I will trade for it if it's in a different language. It's not English. Which, by the way, total side note, John and I were getting food the other day. We were getting Chinese food, and we were talking about, like, the whole thing, and because I think I told him, I was like, oh yeah, I bought, like, I don't actually know, did I tell him that? I don't know. Well, I'm gonna tell him soon that I bought a Japanese Soren. He's probably gonna be really jealous because he really loves Japanese cards, like his favorite cards. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, it's funny. He's like, in Japan, he's like, the coolest thing for them to have is non-foil English cards. Like, that is their thing. And I was like, dude, it's so crazy because here, like, you know, some people are very much like, I really like, you know, English cards. But me, I'm like, all the Japanese cards, all the Russian cards, all the French cards, like, I'm just, like, all about that life. Like, that would be, like, the best thing to me is if all my cards could not be in English. Like, that would be super cool. But I thought that was, like, really funny because, like, their things are, like, so different. Because in Japan, they're, like, English cards. And over here, like, some people, like, really like English cards, but some people are just, like, not English cards. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I think that's, like, a really cool aspect of the game that's just a total unrelated side note. Don't even remember what I got started on stage. But anyways, so, oh yeah, because I told you I ordered a Japanese Soren. So, it wasn't that expensive to you guys. It was like, Soren right now, Grim Nemesis is like 8. I got it for like 10. That's not bad. Like, a $2 difference for that, I was like, YOLO, whatever, I'm getting this card. It's freaking sweet. And then Deploy the Gatewatch is like 99 cents, and then I got a Russian one for like $2. I was like, alright, sweet, sounds good to me. So, cards, yeah, so, like, I built this deck, and I got the cards for it at my local game store. I got, like, $40 worth of cards, some Planeswalkers, the 4 remaining Planeswalkers that I needed, and then, like I said, I proxied Soren and something else, because I was like, I'm gonna get those at some point. I'm actually glad that I waited on Soren, though, because I got that one super sweet. So, I bought the cards, and then I was like, alright guys, like, I'm gonna test this deck out, and we'll see how it works. So, I don't remember how my first game went, if that was the game that was, like, utterly awesome. I think it was the game that game was, like, super sweet, but, like, the deck still needed some work, because it was, like, you know, like, it didn't function as well as I wanted to. The mana base, like, 5-color decks, I'm actually going to be doing a video coming up in the future, within the next couple weeks, talking about 5-color, like, how to build a 5-color deck, because it's definitely a really tricky thing, and the mana base is really difficult. And I'm gonna talk about Super Friends on there, because it's a 5-color deck. I've had another 5-color deck in the past, too, and how I like to build my 5-color decks is, personally, I like to build, with basic lands. I think it just works. In my opinion, I like it the best, and also, if you get, like, those other mana bases, they can be expensive because you need fetches and shocks, and, like, those things to me, like, I'd rather have, like, I think the deck works fine having a, you know, basic land mana base. Yes, sometimes you don't get the best value out of it, but you know what, you run mana rocks and things. So the way that I built my deck is I have a bunch of mana acceleration in the deck, which is, the reason why I'm doing that is actually for 2 reasons. The first thing is I'm using things like Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Yavimaya Elder, I'm trying to think what are my other mana, I have more, like, Rampant Growth, and then I think I have some other more and I can't think of them right now. Oh, actually I don't have Cultivate, I lied. But I have a bunch of mana acceleration and things like that, mana rocks, and the reason why I have them is, one, so that I can get my mana, I can get my colors, which is super important in 5 colors because it has a very sensitive mana base where you're gonna need, like, very specific colors at different moments, things like that. That's number 1. The second reason is actually because the deck, you know, has sort of a weird mana base in that the deck is kind of all over the place with how it looks. So, like, for example, like, the deck runs, these 2 cards, they're very similar. It runs Contagion Engine and Containment Clasp, and they work really well in Super Friends. Basically, they're cards that, their first ability isn't super relevant. One of them adds a -1/-1 counter on things, and one of them puts a -1/-1 counter on all creatures target player controls. That's not, like, super relevant, but the really relevant part is that they have this tap ability. That's, like, tap. You have to pay mana for it, and then it's like Proliferate, which means that, you know, if you have things with counters, you get to add counters on them, which, by the way, is super cool, because if you want to make friends in this game and your opponent has, like, +1/+1 counters on something or whatever, or say you don't want to make friends and you're being really aggressive, you can give -1/-1 counters on stuff, like if they're running, like, I don't know, like Kitchen Finks or things like that. Kill their Kitchen Finks off, yeah, sounds good to me. Or it adds counters to your Planeswalkers, which is the most relevant point. And the one card, Contagion Engine? Yeah, Contagion Engine is the really mana expensive one. It's all colorless mana because it's an artifact, but it's Proliferate, then Proliferate again. And it's really, really good because, like, say you're close to ulting a planeswalker, like, proliferate, trice, ult my, whatever, which is awesome. But the thing is that they're very mana intensive. And a lot of times what you want to do is you want to be playing, like, multiple planeswalkers in a turn, or you want to be playing multiple things in a turn. Because that way, the more planeswalkers you have, the harder it makes it for your opponents. Because if they have, like, only, like, one creature, their one creature can only swing at whatever. Or you want to be playing, like, a planeswalker in the same turn that you play board wipe. So the deck is very mana intensive, that you want to have a lot of mana out so that you can do multiple things to help your board. Because let's be real here, if your opponents have a ton of dudes and you play planeswalker, they're just gonna freaking kill it. If you're, they probably want to kill it, unless you're like friends, you're playing politics and you're friends with them in the game. But they really want to kill your planeswalker. So if you board wipe, which is really good, and the way that, in my opinion, the way that I think Super Friends should have board wipe, so that you can board wipe your opponents, but then you can keep your board of planeswalkers, because not a lot of board wipes kill planeswalkers. You've got, like, in Garrick's Wake, but let's be real here, not a lot of people. I run that card because I love that card and I think it's awesome. I actually don't run it because of Super Friends. I run it because it kills all opponents' creatures, but it doesn't kill your creatures. This deck doesn't run a lot of creatures. It just runs a lot of, like, you know, whatever. So something that I found that's really been cool with the deck, though, is, and I'm gonna do a video, I'm gonna talk about, like, essentials for Super Friends decks, if you guys are curious and, like, you guys are thinking about building the deck. Let's be real, I've already inspired one person at my local game store. Oh man, Andy. My friend Andy is, like, he's very much a person who gets inspired by other people's decks. And so, like, someone else built Super Friends, or my friend Spencer, who I talked about, and I built the deck, and then he was looking at it, and he was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, yeah, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna build this deck. And I was like, okay, sweet. So, like, he traded in a bunch of cards and whatever, and is building 5-color Super. He actually has it. I think he has, like, some proxies and stuff, but yeah, he's gonna build it. It's, like, super cool. So, but anyways, like, I don't actually remember where I was going with the story. This is I've been really good recently about, like, staying on track and remembering what I was saying, but right now I'm just like, wow, what was I talking about? That's a really good question. So, talking about Super Friends, something building the deck, other people building the deck. I don't remember, but we'll start a new thought, because I can't remember. Oh yeah, like, so essential cards, like, in the decks. So, like, I'm gonna do a video talking about that, but, like, doubling season. So here's the deal with the way that the deck works, is the deck is really interesting because, you know how some decks are like, I have this one combo, or these two combos, and this is how I'm gonna kill my opponents, and all the deck revolves around is getting to those combos. It can win in other ways, but it primarily wins in this way. Some decks are like, I just make a bunch of dudes and I kill you. And then Super Friends is really interesting, though, because of the dynamic of how it wins. Because a lot of people look at this deck like, alright, cool, you have a bunch of planeswalkers, but what do you do with it? A lot of times people just scoop up their cards to you, and that's how you win. And, like, I'm not exaggerating, like, I'm saying that a lot of times, like, you get planeswalkers ults off, and people just can't win. So, for example, like, if you can win via creatures, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but one thing that you can do is, you play a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes, and you gain 100 life, and no one's playing Degenerate combo decks, and they're like, alright, 100 life is way too much, I can't deal with that scoop. Some people, you get Narset, Transcendence ult off, and people just scoop because they can't play a good percentage of their deck. That has happened. Those are, like, two ults that are really devastating that a lot of people really can't deal with. The creature route. The deck does have quite a bit of token gen. The deck runs some token gen and things like that. The tokens are mainly there to protect my planeswalkers, but I want to talk to you guys about this super sweet thing that I did. It was awesome. So we were playing a 4-player game, and then it comes down to John and I. I feel like it always comes down to John and I. It's, like, really funny. And he always has this regret of, if I swung at Tracy sooner, she would have been dead, but, you know, he didn't. He swung at someone else. Really, actually, it has nothing to do with we're dating. Like, I don't go easy on him because we're dating. Like, sometimes I'm just like, John's annoying me. Like, not, like, annoying me, like, in real life. Like, annoying me in Magic, and I'm like, swing at John, like, whatever. Like, we don't care that we're dating like that. I don't know if he goes so soft on me sometimes, but, like, I don't go soft on him. I'm like, oh, aggressive, swing with my thing. So anyways, so we were playing, and he was playing his, what is that deck called? Norn the Wary. This deck's sweet. It's mono red, and it's like, it's kind of mono red chaos. It's like really funny. It runs like mana barbs and like cool things like that, and just Perforos, so like every time someone does something and then Norn the Wary comes back, he deals 2 damage each one. It's a sweet deck. And so we're playing, and he's got like nothing on board. Like he's drawing like a ton of, I think he drew like quite a bit of lands or something. He just wasn't getting anything. So, on my board, I have Venser out. And Venser is not a planeswalker that you see in a lot of people's lists, but he's in my list. And he's really good because he blinks something that's got an ETB effect, which is really good if you're running it with, like, Solemn Simulacrum. I run, like, Farhaven Elf in there. You can blink a land, you can blink like your command tower, which is actually like really cool. Or if not, if like you have nothing to do, you just blink land, whatever. But what I had out was Oath of Gideon, guys. I was blinking Oath of Gideon and making like 2/1/1 tokens, and it was super sweet. And he was at like 12 or something, and I was like, or he was at like something, and I was like, okay, I was like, swing with my dudes, and I like kept doing that, and he ended up winning, but it was like super close. Like I would have killed him on the next turn, and it was really awesome. So Venser is so good. Not like a planeswalker that you'll see in everyone's list, but depending on your build, if you're running the Oaths, oh man, you very much need Venser to blink your Oaths because it's nuts. It's super good. I understand that like the Oaths are going to be like 3, 4, 5 cards of your deck, but like, you know what, Venser is just too good to pass up, you know, and his ult, let's be real here, like, if you get his ult off, yeah, that's another Planeswalker devastating ult. Every time you cast something, you just exile something, alright, cool, like, exile your board, sounds good to me. Yeah, so, I'm really excited because building this deck has really made me excited about Magic again. Like, if you can tell, I'm like really stoked right now. I'm really, really excited, and like, I'm excited too because, like, I don't know if actually I told you guys this story. I don't remember, but I talked about something in one of my videos talking about being really frustrated with EDH, and I was outside my local game store and I was really upset, and like John and Tyler were like, yo Tracy, it's okay, like whatever, and like I said, like, I feel like I don't do powerful things in EDH. I think I talked about this. And then John was like, you do powerful things in EDH. Stop. He's like, Tracy, you casted Demonic Tutor 20 times in one game. You do powerful things. Be quiet. And so, like, it was so funny. Like, we were playing Super Friends. I was playing Super Friends. And I don't know if he said this or I said this, but one of us was just like, I think I said, like, oh, so babe, are you gonna use this against me? Like, when I say, like, I don't do powerful things in EDH, you're gonna be like, look what you just did, Tracy, you doubling Season Narset in the same turn. I'm just like, yeah, sometimes. But yeah, like, it makes me, like, the deck is very powerful, and, you know what? Like, sometimes, like, you don't have answers, but to me that's like every deck. Like, some decks, like, even those really powerful decks, like, you know, they just don't draw well, or they don't draw any lands, or they draw too many lands, and they can't do anything, like, whatever. But, like, I've really found that I really like this deck a lot, and I'm really happy with it, and it's made me excited about Magic again, and that's something that makes me happy, because then I'm really excited to, like, go to my local game store and, like, play EDH, and that's really, really awesome, and, you know, it's really sweet. Like, I'm really stoked about this deck. I'm, like, really, really excited to, like, get the final cards. I have a couple of cards that are proxied, right now. I think I have 5 cards that are proxied. I'm getting Sorin, I'm getting, what was that other card? Deploy the Gatewatch. Those cards are nuts. And then I have 3 other cards that I need to get. One of them is a Tameo, because I've decided I just need her. Here's the deal, is I really like, okay, so here's the deal. I really like promo cards. I know a lot of people really like pack foils. I love promo cards. I love the timestamp. I just, like, to me, like, that is something that I really like. So, I really love the timestamp. So, like, I really want a time-stamped promo foil Tameo. I want it. It's $30. I don't care. I want it. Like, it's so pretty, and I'm just like, this is sweet, and, like, whatever. And, like, if I ever in the future decide to take apart Super Friends, I would find a use for her because she's awesome. And I just really want her, and she dropped in price, but her promo is still $30, but I'm like, I want her so badly. So, like, I'll probably settle and just get a regular Tameo for right now, but I really want a promo one. Really, really want it so badly. Maybe I'll keep and buy one, who knows. There's one in the case in my local game store, and maybe it'll be there tomorrow, who knows. But I need it. So I need that. I need a Tameo, and then there's 2 more cards that I need, and I'm really trying to remember what they are. I really can't remember what they are right now. They're on my tapped out, and I'm really lazy, and the computer's right over there. I could realistically grab it and tell you guys, but okay, I'll grab my laptop. It's gonna bother me if I don't. Oh my gosh, there's a cat. I really like it when I open Facebook and there's just cats. That makes me really happy. I'm like, cats! I like cats a lot. I really like dogs too. Animals are great. Literally that's like all I post on Facebook is I just post like cute things of cats. So, where is this deck? By the way, my deck is called Who Needs Friends When I Have Super Friends. Oh, there we go. Okay. I need a Freylease for the deck. And Freylease is actually really interesting. Like, I was actually talking about, John's, like, great, and, like, I love when I can, like, bounce ideas off of people. And so I was like, listen, I think what I need in the deck is I need more artifact and enchantment hate. And he was like, you know what you need? He's like, you need Freylease. And Freylease is really, really good. What I like about her is she makes dudes sweet, I love it. Or if she can just be like I really need to hate on some artifact and enchantments right now. I really like that. And her ult is something that potentially can be useful. If I don't really have that many dudes, like, I don't really care that much about her ult, but she makes dudes. I can tap the dudes for mana if I need to, or if I really need blockers for my planeswalkers, she can do that. She just, to me, seems like her first 2 abilities are the most important. So I've decided that I'm gonna get her for the deck because she's really good. Rhystic Study is a slot that I'm really toying between. It's kind of like a slot that I don't really know what I'm going to do with right now. At the moment, it's going to be Rhystic Study, but I don't know. I'm not fully 100% settled on this spot right now. I don't think I'm actually going to buy Rhystic Study because I have one in Tasigur. And what I may do is I may just trade off the card. I know it's like $4, but I'm just like, you know, not really that committed right now. So I'm not really sure. This should be something else, but I don't know what yet. I think it's actually going to be the new Planeswalker from Conspiracy, which I'm so excited about. What is her name? She's the black-white one. She's really awesome. She's definitely going in this deck. But here's the problem, is here's the story of my life, is I really want the alternative art one, but it's going to be, like, impossible to find and probably really expensive. But it starts with a K or something. I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, she's really awesome. So, I'm really stoked to pick her up or have someone open her and then I can trade for her because she's really sweet and I've been like, as soon as I saw her I was like, oh, she's going to Super Friends, she's awesome. And then I think I'll have like 27 Planeswalkers in the deck, which I think to me is a very good number because I think that it balances out with the rest of the deck because the rest of the deck is like, you know, you have Planeswalkers and you've got lands and that's about like half the deck, and then you have like a little bit more than half the deck. And then you have, like, board wipes, couple of creatures that are, like, mana rocks and stuff. And then you have, like, removal and, like, conflux. Oh, man, that card's nuts. I'm gonna be talking about that in an upcoming video when I talk about cards that are needed for Super Friends. Yeah, card's sweet. Card is really, really nuts. I'm a huge fan. Pretty much, like, at that point, you get, like, Doubling Season, Narset, and then you cast them on the next turn, and then you just win. It's just super good. I like it. I need probably, an Eternal Witness for that deck. I think actually, I don't know right now, this is really, like, I've been thinking about this for a while. I have my mono green Yisan EDH deck, and I really like that deck, but I don't feel like it's up to the power level of... It's kind of like it's a really good one-on-one deck. Like, it's really good. But the problem with it is I just think it doesn't have enough removal for me because it's mono green. And, like, it doesn't have enough creature removal for me because that's just not what green does. So I'm kind of like, I'm not really, like, I've been thinking about taking the deck apart. I'm not too sure yet. So we're gonna kind of see. But yeah, what I'm really happy about is that I'm happy with this deck, and it makes me happy to play Magic again. And that's, like, to me is really great, because when I filmed that other video, I was, like, super frustrated, but now I'm, like, back to, like, yeah, EDH is, like, super awesome. So, that like means a lot. Like, that means a lot to me more than the fact that I love the deck, that I'm back to like loving EDH again. And, you know, yeah, that was pretty much it. I think that was all I got. I gotta go eat something now, because I'm like, really, I've been hungry like since the start of this video, and it was like 2 minutes in and I was like, yo, I'm really hungry, but I'm not committed to stopping this and starting this all over, so I'm just gonna go through it. So I'm gonna go eat something. But thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.